talk about how to be a witch. I want to lay down some bedrock for you to build your practice on top of. As long as you have a solid foundation, you can build something really, really incredible. And so the first thing that you should do, since you're already watching this video, is dedicate yourself to a year and a day of study. And I'm not suggesting that you get initiated into a particular coven or even that you make yourself accountable to anyone else. The point of the dedication to a year and a day of studying is just to keep you accountable to that goal. You start actually working spells and practicing magic, you are not going to end up in a bad situation where, I don't need to tell you, be careful what you wish for, right? So I know it sounds like a bummer to wait a year and a day, and I'm not saying you necessarily need to wait the entire time before you work a spell, although I would say that's ideal. It's very key to be a student as a witch. It's one of the key aspects of what being a witch is. You need to promise yourself that you will always be learning. I am always still learning, and I've been practicing in the craft for a long time. Read books. Yes, the internet is great and all, but it will always be a little bit more fluff than a book. An actual hard copy paper book. And I'm not saying you need to go out to, chapters and spend a whole bunch of money on books. Get yourself a library card, hit up your used bookstore, go to garage sales. If the library has a book sale, jackpot, because they are trying to get rid of books. So they charge like $1 or 50 cents a book, I swear. It's pretty amazing. And you might not think that a garage sale or a library sale, even a used bookstore, is somewhere that you could get books on witchcraft, but you would be surprised. I have gotten a lot of books from the most unexpected sources. In fact, actually, this book right here was I don't have a lot of the introductory books anymore. A lot of them I've given away to other people who are just starting out in the craft. I still have this one though, because I found it in a box. It was raining, this sad box, like soggy cardboard box of books sitting out beside the dumpster. And so of course I rescue it, and inside there's a book on magic by Amber Kay called True Magic, A Beginner's Guide, and it's actually quite good. She's a little intense about certain things, like suggesting that you should only wear natural fabrics, which doesn't seem super important to me, but it does give a decent foundation. There are a lot of good books on starting out in the craft. Another one that I would recommend is Spirit of a Witch by Raven Grimassi. And he actually writes in the foreword of that book that it's a book he wrote for people who don't practice witchcraft to read to learn about what witchcraft is. Now, that being said, it's a very, very good holistic take on what being a witch is, and I highly recommend it as reading. Next key point, next key brick in your foundation is to hang out with nature. Notice I didn't say hang out in nature, because you're not just there and the tree is just there. If you are admiring it, it is aware of you. You can connect directly with the energy of the natural elements around you. Even Eckhart Tolle says that when you admire a flower, the flower likes it. The flower appreciates your attention that you are giving it. And I agree. Actually, that brings me to a side note that I would recommend also in your year and a day of studying, that you look into the foundational texts of different religions, like the Tao or the Bhagavad Gita, or, you know, anything Zen Buddhism. I have the Book of Nothing. This is a book on Zen Buddhism. It just doesn't hurt to give yourself some different options to help you understand what it means to be a spiritual being. Okay, back to nature. I will do a video on how to commune with nature, but I'll give you a short description now that might get you started. Just go up to a plant, ideally a tree, put your hand on it, and just try not to think, try not to name the tree. Don't say, this is an elm. No need. Just place your hand on it and just see what you get. And I haven't talked about tools yet, but I am going to talk about one tool that is essential. Get yourself a notebook. And you can call it whatever you want. You can call it grimoire, book of shadows, whatever you like. But it will be your Bible. And I don't mean literally, but if your craft is your spiritual path or your religion, then your grimoire is your holy text. That's where you are putting all of the information that you are getting throughout your lifetime of learning. Well, you'll go through a few of them in a lifetime, I imagine, but it's so important. And a little side tip on that I would give is, don't get one that's too beautiful to write in. I have this incredibly gorgeous grimoire, which has a tiger's eye set in it. It has all of this like hand-tooled leather. Oops, it's upside down. It's so pretty, and it was a gift from my little brother, and I love it. And I love to create like really beautiful entries in it, but I also won't write in it unless I know exactly what I'm trying to say, and so that I don't have to make any revisions that would mess up the book. And I write in, like as you can see here, the titles in calligraphy. It was a Christmas gift, so this is the first page. And so I don't use this a lot. I use a lot of regular notebooks, and truthfully, they're kind of all over the place, and a lot of them are half full, and then I lose them, and then I re-find it, and then now I have information from 3 years ago right beside new information in there. I would recommend not doing it like that, if you can avoid it. Just start out with one notebook, keep it with you all the time, and anytime you get a flash of inspiration, that is a message for you directly from the divine, from source, whatever you want to call it. Write it down. When you're reading books, as you're studying, and you read something and you think, oh, I don't know about that, I actually think this. Write that in your journal, in your grimoire. It's yours, for you to write your personal secret thoughts and opinions and insights and experiences. Next brick in the foundation, do the spiritual work. This is quite possibly the most difficult one on the list. It's hard to stop thinking when you've never tried to do it before. It gets easier, but you have to. You absolutely must learn how to quiet your mind, how to focus your energy and your attention, Only from a place of utter stillness can true power be raised. And I don't mean physical stillness, although that can help sometimes. Some people actually meditate better when they're moving, dancing, or even just going for a walk. I will also do a video on meditation, but there are a lot of meditation teachers out there who are better at it than me, probably. So it's also something that you can explore in your journey of learning. Edgar Cayce was a turn of the century psychic, and he describes it very succinctly. He says, praying is talking to God, but meditation is listening to God. And you can exchange that for whatever you like, source, spirit, goddess, doesn't really matter. A god by any other name would smell as sweet. When you meditate, that's when you gain the insights. That's when you grow. And finally, this may come a little bit later than the other ones that I've mentioned. That's why it's last on the list. But I would say it's an important part of the foundation. It's walking the talk. Get active. And I don't mean going for a jog, but you can do that too. Go for a walk in a natural location, but then also dedicate yourself to protecting and preserving those natural spaces. Because we, as witches, consider nature to be sacred if we acknowledge the world that we live in as the source of our power, of our very lives. It's our duty. We have an obligation to protect it. And in fact, environmentalism is not the only form of activism that I think not only witches but people should be involved in. For witches in particular, environmentalism is very key. You can call your government official, or if you're not old enough to vote, then you can hound your parents about it. You can sign and share petitions, and you can donate, and of course, you can always take to the streets, protest, rally, make them listen. Mark the calendar for a year and a day, study, and then celebrate, and then continue to study. Speaking of studying, read books. Speaking of books, get a notebook. Do the spiritual work, meaning learn to meditate, learn to focus your energy. And finally, walk the talk. Stand up for Mother Earth. Kindness is repaid. I hope this video was helpful. If it was, let me know. And in the future, I will make videos on meditation, energy sensing, communing with nature. So if you are interested in those, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. Merry meet, merry part, merry meet again. Blessed be.